connections, building relationships. And I'm super excited today to be joined by Marina, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about how to build better connections the BNI way. So Marina, I'm curious, why is it important for us to build those connections?
I think when it comes to doing business or working in BNI it's all about creating relationships. So it's really important that you build a great relationship with the people that you want to do business with, because they eventually become your referral partners, your business partners. So having those connections and having those relationships, I feel that you can then have more fun in driving business when you like, know, and trust those individuals.
Love it, love it. And y'all know I'm all about the fun. So anytime we can work that in, that is great. And building that know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm excited to
Absolutely.
introduce you to Marina. She's in Melbourne, Australia. So the other side of the world. She's an AD in Melbourne Central, leading a team of 18 directors and managing over 20 chapters in Melbourne Central. She believes in the importance of building connections through networking. Being a part of BNI for 13 years, she enjoys providing members the opportunity to make lots of connections and network their business to success. Now, interestingly enough, something that nobody knows about her, or few people know about her, is she's scared of heights, but walked the treetops in Tasmania. Tell us about that, please.
Well, I am very scared of heights, absolutely. And when I saw we were in Tasmania, in one part of Tasmania is the treetops. So you're climbing up probably meters and meters of stairs. And as I'm walking up these stairs, I am getting higher and higher. My heart is beating, I'm sweating, and I don't look down because I'm very fortunate. Both my girlfriends are holding me. And as I get to the top, I think I was about to pass out. My heart was thumping. However, what I realized was that when I got to the top, there was actual screens. So therefore, I didn't have to look down. And being able to not see the ground and looking up, I was able to walk. And the actual treetops go for quite a while. It's probably about a 5-meter walk along the treetops. And then you can get to the end of the treetops, and then there's an edge that you can actually walk out on the edge, and you're actually standing on the edge of this forest. Well, I didn't walk out to the edge of that forest, Tiffany, but I made it. And I was just really proud of myself because, if you want to really do something in life and you give yourself a chance, you actually get it done. And I thought, regardless of the fear and the obstacles that were in my way, I was able to push through that and get it done. So I was really, really proud. And I talk about that experience all the time.
As somebody that's kind of afraid of heights, I could see how that would be like, oh gosh.
It is. You could just feel it, can't you? Knowing you're up high and you could possibly see down, and it's unless you've got a fear of heights, you don't really get those emotions because people are daredevils and that heights is not a problem. But for those that are not daredevils and find it difficult, it becomes a problem.
I get you. Well, thank you for sharing a little bit about your experience.
My pleasure.
And now I'm going to ask, okay, so how do we build better connections the BNI way? Can you give us some tips to make this happen?
Absolutely. What's lovely about BNI is, one of our core values is about building relationships. So we encourage everyone to build those connections. And what we have, or what we call building connections, is having a one-to-one, where partners or members of the chapter come together to share information about themselves and build those connections. And what we use as a way to build connections is we have like a checklist, or what we call a gains profile, right? And what is involved in that gains profile is all about its goals, accomplishments, interests, networks, and skills. So let me just go through that a little bit for you, Tiffany, is that when this actual form that we call gains is you're not doing it prescriptively. You don't sit there and think, okay, I need to go through goals. It depends on where you want to start. And a lot of people starts with interests. And the reason why interests are really important is because it actually starts to build that like. So in business, we want to work, or we would love to do business with people that we like, know, and trust. And understanding what we like about each other allows us to build further connections and get to like each other. Like, I know, Tiffanie, you love your beer. Like, when you shared about your beer, I love food, right? I love movies. And when we were doing your program, you talked about, what you loved, your beer, your socks, your brand of your socks, right? So I walk away knowing that about you. So if I was in America and I had to buy you a birthday present, I know exactly what to buy you, right?
Beer and socks are a pretty good way to go with me.
And you actually said, if you need to ever buy me a gift, you just buy me some socks, right? And so I watched you train, and I was watching the socks you were wearing while you were training, and I thought, God, that is amazing. But you see, it reminds me of you. I was wearing an unusual pair of socks the other day, and I thought of you. I thought this is what Tiffanie would like. So you can see immediately, people are golfers, people love football, people love soccer. We call it soccer down other people around the world call it football. But understanding what people like is a really way to build connections. But what a lot of people don't ask or think about is goals. It's understanding where the other person wants to go. And why I find that's really important is, what do you want to do in your business? Where do you want to go in your business? It starts to set your vision for that person. So you know where that person wants to go. They might want to build their business to 50 people. They might want to bring in different products. So by understanding where they want to go, you can think about how you can help them. I know that goals can have 3 levels. Tiffanie, you talked about this the other day, that they could have a personal goal, a professional goal, a networking goal. And it's really good to ask that question. And I really like to know what is it? What's your dream? Where do you see yourself in the next 2 to 3 years? Because when I know how you want to grow, develop, and build your business, through asking the connections that you might want, I might be able to help you.
Yeah, I think this idea of goals is, it just gives us an idea of what you're working towards.
Correct.
And what does the future look like for you? And there's no right or wrong answer here. However, and I always, sometimes people are like, I want to retire in a year. And I'm like, I don't know that that's a goal you want to put on your gains profile. Because if you're trying to grow the business and develop, I see like you're going on your way out versus, let's develop this long-term referral.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because if someone said to me, I want to retire in a year's time as a career coach, I'd be saying, right, I would be asking a lot more questions about what that would look like, because therefore I could find them ideas on what to think about. So you can already see that if you see what a business owner wants to achieve in their business, you immediately think of ways that you could help them. So it's really good to understand their goals, because it gives us their vision and we know what they want to do. I think also understanding their achievements, under accomplishments, it's like, what have you been proud of, right? That helps the connection build credibility. It helps people really think, yes, I'm willing to put you in front of my client because you're credible, because look at what you've achieved and what you're proud of. And people can, when they share from passion, from achievement, from their achievements, we then can see, what they've achieved in their lives, their success, and we can then share that success with people that we want to connect them with. To say, Tiffanie runs these programs and she's been extremely successful and she's had thousands of people through it. And look at her testimonials, or any business owner that we work through in BNI and we understand their accomplishments. You're building your credibility in my mind, so that I know and I trust putting you. And we're also building trust. The like, know, and trust. When you know that someone has been extremely successful, has achieved a lot in their lives, you start to build that trust with them. The other thing that's real,
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on, because sometimes as I'm talking to BNI members, they really fill this accomplishment section with their business accomplishments. However, I kind of feel like some of those personal accomplishments can speak volumes to a person's just who they are. So what are your thoughts about including personal?
I think people should put, I absolutely agree. They should put their business success, but also, like, I know that in my life, a lot of my achievements, like a few of my proudest moments, have been my special projects that I've run. So I've run special projects where I took 100 elderly people from my neighborhood to the pictures because I wanted to combat loneliness. I set up a fashion parade for 250 people where I could I could let people know that big is beautiful. So no matter what size you are, it doesn't matter. You're beautiful whatever size. So we did a fashion parade that was out of the norm with lots of different types of shapes and clothes, and we fundraised around $10,000 for a foundation here, which is the Butterfly Foundation, where people suffer from what's it called? You know, the vomiting disease.
Anorexia.
Anorexia. Yes.
Okay.
So we built that, and I also I've got my parents came from Italy. They were migrants in Australia, and I really realized that in my family, food was a real way to share love. So I realized how important these women were that came from another country and shared their experiences through food. So I created a cookbook which was a tribute to mums around the world. And in this cookbook, it has different recipes from all around the world of the migrants that came to Australia. So, you know, they are things that are really important to me. So you can see the way I look at the world and the way I see things. So I absolutely agree that it's really good that those achievements are not just business-wise. I know that if we're wanting to get to know each other and we want to build that credibility with each other, it is important to achieve the success. But what you might find is a lot of people don't know how to articulate their achievements.
Yeah.
They don't actually have them. So it's really important to say, well, what are you proud of and what have you achieved? So therefore, you know, when I'm talking to other people and putting you in front of my clients, I can say, wow, look, this is what this person's achieved. So
yeah, and as you bring that up, for those of you that are watching this, if you are one of those that have a hard time coming up with your achievements, sometimes going to the people in your world, they can see and know better all of these amazing things that you've achieved that you may not realize or recognize. And I know, like, sometimes people are like, Tiffanie, you've changed so much since I first met you. Some of the people that I met in BNI 18 years ago when I got involved, I was this shy little 2005. I was a shy little 26-year-old girl that had no clue what she was doing, looked like she was 18, new in business, new to all of this. And like, I've changed dramatically, but sometimes we don't notice that. Like, I've noticed it, but some people don't notice that along the way. And so sometimes you can ask some of your friends.
Yeah, but also what's important, Tiffanie, is that you think of your journey and you think of what you've achieved, or, you know, what you've got involved with, what you, over the years, what you've created, right? It's really important to be able to share that, because I want to be your fan. I want to be able to go out and say, you know, go and see Tiffanie, go and work with Tiffanie, because, you know, she's achieved this success. And that is why it builds your credibility. And it also builds the trust of the like, know, and trust that we need to build to ensure, you know, people don't realize that if you don't build trust in others, they're not going to refer you on. Correct.
It always amazes me when people are like, I'm here, why aren't they referring me? Have you done one-to-ones? Have you passed them referrals? No, I'm waiting for, and I'm like, no. It's a relationship. I don't know why people think business relationships are so different than personal or romantic relationships. To me, the relationships you have in BNI,
you need to be invested, and you need to be invested, and you need to have the giver's gain principle, but you also need to ask the questions and you need to care so that you gain the information, and people need to be able to feel comfortable to share. So if you don't go through that whole process of let's get together, let's connect, let me find out what you're proud of. And, you know, the next one that we ask about is who do you know in the sense of who are your networks, because this helps build your influence. So people will say, oh, you know, this person is involved in the RSL. This person is involved in their local community. This person is a leader elsewhere. It's amazing what you find that people in BNI or in life, you see them maybe at work, or we see them in our BNI network, but they could be leaders in something else. So it's really good to find out, okay, well, who do you network with, and what are your other networks that you participate in? Because this again creates that influencing skills. It creates that priority of, well, this person's got good influence. And then you can ask them, but do you know this person? If you're part of these communities or these other networks, would you know some key people that could help me? So it's another way of having those conversations, but quite meaningful conversations, not superficial. And I think the last one that we have on our gains profile.
Before we get to that last one, when it comes to the network, if I can, Tom Fleming, who I've worked with for almost 2 decades now, he likes to say he feels that the networks part of the gains profile is probably the least looked at. Like, people are like, oh, here are your networks, moving on. Versus it's like, when I look at your network, that section is all of those people that are behind you that you know. And yeah, people usually put like BNI in the chamber, but there's so many. Yeah, they could be a leader at the church or the synagogue. They could be a leader in scouts. They could be a leader in so many different things. And I think this is a very powerful section of, who do you know? What are these groups behind you? And personally, as a professional speaker, I like to be like, ooh, are there any groups in there that I should be speaking to?
But I think that's what's really important, because if you've got a giver's gain attitude, you want to help the other person. So, if I have a good network and you are looking for, speaking opportunities, or you're looking to meet key people that are going to help your business, and they are in my network, that is what I would love to pass that on, because I already like you because we have similar interests, or I've got to know you. I know that you're credible because you've told me about your achievements. I know where you want to go in your business, so I know that you've got a key direction. So, and now I know that you've got, key people around you that could really help, or I could help them. So it starts to build a whole picture of the person that's in front of you, that you can then turn around and say, I want to help this person. I can help this person. And you know what we say, your network is your net worth.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So who you know is what is worthy of, other people. So it's really, really important to understand, okay, who do you play with? Who do you have fun with? Who do you network with? And who do you know? Right? And I think the last one that we have on our gains profile is all about, what can you do? What are your skills? And the reason what's really important about that is because, again, it's now building your expertise. So what we've done is we've built your credibility, we've built connection, we've built influence, and now we're going to build expertise. And the expertise is, what can you do? So when people ask me about being a career coach, what can I do? Yes, I can help you write that resume. Yes, I can help you create a pitch to go out and talk to recruiters. Yes, I can prepare you for your interview because I have those skills of empathy. I have those skills of being able to train you on these aspects that you need to job search. I can teach you how to network because I'm part of a huge network. So I have the skills that I can impart to make sure that if you put your clients in front of me, or whoever that might need a career coach, you can trust me. You can believe in me because I have demonstrated the skills, and I can also show you possibly the testimonials or some information that can show you that, yes, I've been able to achieve success in my business. So we do have a responsibility when speaking to other people to build our expertise, build our connection, build our credibility so that you can trust me enough to put me in front of your clients, or for you, Tiffanie, for me to help you and put you in front of my clients to say, you need to get referrals, you need to know how to network, go and speak to Tiffanie, because I know what you do, I know what you've achieved, I know what success looks like for you, and I know that you're ambitious and you want to go far, and therefore you'll impart that knowledge on my clients. So it's really important. And I think people forget that when they're building these relationships, it's important to show people that, yes, you can trust me because I have the skill to do it, and I also have the passion for it, and I'm also credible. So I will not let you down if you pass business to me.
So I love your thoughts on the gains profile. How do you recommend that when we're doing a one-to-one, how do we even bring it up to know that this is what we're going to do in the one-to-one?
Well, I think what's important in the sense of teaching members to use the gains profile, or how would I use the gains profile in my session?
So yes. So first, like, how do we even know that we're going to do a gains conversation if we're planning it in advance,
So
or do you do it more conversationally?
the way that we encourage in BNI is that if we book a one-to-one, is that I'll say, Tiffanie, I'd love to have a one-to-one with you. I'm sending you my gains sheet because my gains sheet has been completed. Because the first thing that we do in BNI is we complete our gains sheet. So we've already thought through all of this information and we've put it on our gains sheet. And the last piece of the gains sheet is your last 10 clients. So last 10 clients, so that we can start to look at it to see the avatar that you work with. So I would say, Tiffanie, let's do our one-to-one. Please send me your gains sheet. I will send you mine so that we can have a look at each other's gains sheet, and then we can then progress in that one-to-one to talk more about what we've discovered about each other through that gains sheet. But if you're not part of BNI, right, and you're not part of BNI, when you get into the conversation, you can ask these sort of questions, which are, what do you enjoy doing? Tell me a bit about your business. How did you get started? Where do you want to go in your business? Tell me what you've achieved in your business, which is the accomplishments. Tell me where you built your business through your networks. What networks have you belonged to help you build your business? And tell me what are the skills that you impart or use on a daily basis to help your clients? So you can naturally ask all these questions, whether you're part of BNI or not BNI.
Yeah.
So it's quite easy to use by asking the right questions and building those relationships. So therefore, hopefully you walk away with a contact and they walk away with a contact, which is really the premise of why we do our one-to-one. Don't we, Tiffanie?
I love this tool to help us move from visibility into credibility.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting though, because I'm listening and you say like, know, and trust, and we say know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's just a cultural difference that kind of means the same thing, just a little bit different.
Well, I just think it's probably just the way I've been trained.
Yeah.
Because we've always said like, know, and trust. So, we like someone, we want to get to know them. If we like people, we then want to get to know them more deeply. And then as we get to know them more deeply, we start to build that trust. Some people say trust, know, and like, but we always say like, know, and trust, right?
And
I absolutely agree with you, because when we first, in BNI, it's all about building those relationships and givers gain, being able to help each other. And we do, when we first start in BNI, we just see each other. We see each other in our meetings. We see each other coming in and out. It's when we start to have these one-to-ones that we start to build our credibility. Yeah. And if we build our credibility extremely well with following the gain sheet and asking the right questions and having that giver's gain mindset and really wanting to help that other person, we then move to profitability, because that's when we start to make money, because we're now referring to each other, we're closing deals, and we're making money in BNI, which is what we are trying to do. It is what we want to do for each other in BNI.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, I love you sharing about how we can create these better connections. Do me a favor. I know you mentioned a teeny bit about what you do when you're not helping out with BNI. Tell us a little bit about what your profession is outside of the organization.
Well, thank you, Tiffany, because what I do is I'm a career coach. So as a career coach, I help people that are quite, they're disadvantaged in some way, in the sense that they might have been made redundant, or they've come to a crisis or a crossroad in their life and realize that they don't like what they're doing anymore, or they've been out of the workforce for a long time and want to come back in. So what I do for them is I help them get back into the workforce through looking at, building their tools, which is, resume, their applications, looking at where they can find the roles. So navigating the market, both the hidden and the hidden market and the open market, being able to network, which is what we do every day. But, a lot of people find it very difficult to get out there and become comfortable with being uncomfortable and getting out and networking. And then, of course, negotiating those salaries and then closing the deal. So I go through that whole process with them so that they can achieve a job or a career that they love, and that they're going to be happy with. So that's what I help my clients with.
Love it. Yeah, it's interesting. As being an entrepreneur since I'm 20, how old when I entered the entrepreneurial? I think the last time I interviewed for a job, I was, like 19 or 20. It's been so long. And getting like a job when you're a teenager versus a career is a way different thing that I just didn't realize. And so it's awesome to have somebody that has those skill sets to help you along the way, especially if you're transitioning from the entrepreneurial world back into the more corporate world, or if you've been let go and you just want to find that perfect thing for you.
You actually want to have variety, which means that you might want to have a board position, or you might want to be part of community. All of that will require some form of interview. So that's where I'm able to assist them to go, okay, you're going to be interviewed for this role. And they're like, I'm a business owner. I've never been interviewed. Or, I haven't done this for 20 years. It's around sitting down with them and working through a process of getting them prepared and ready to be able to sell their skills, sell their accomplishments, and really build themselves up as the successor for that role. So it can be used this type of training can be used for many situations, not just for those that want to be out of work and need a job, but those people that might want something new in their lives or something different, but they need to go through that interview process.
Makes total sense. Now, y'all, I'm going to put up here on the screen a little shameless plug. So if you want to check out her and her company, you can go to letscreate.com.au. Do notice there's a Z in there. If you're American, it's like maybe a little different. So that's where you can go to check that out. And where can we find you online?
On LinkedIn and on social media. If you want to, Facebook, LinkedIn, please come and connect with me, and would love to hear everything about you in the sense of where you're working or whether you want to change. And if I can help you, I would love to do that.
Love it. So do check out our website, check her out online. It's been a pleasure to get to be here to talk to you a little bit about how to connect better in a BNI way. In just a moment, I'm going to ask you if you have anything else that you want to share with our viewers. Though I did want to share with y'all watching. I did, along with my partner, Tom Fleming, a video. It's about 30 minutes. And we really walk through the intricacies of some of the gains profile. So as Marina mentioned, I sometimes talk about, your personal goals, driving your business goals, driving your networking goals. We walk through that example. And so it's kind of an in-depth video on looking at the gains profile. So I've shared that bit.ly/TNT, Tom and Tiffany, because we're explosive. We blow things up in a good way. TNT gains, the longer link is there. We'll include it in the show notes if you're watching this on YouTube, y'all. So check that out. And if you want to share your gains with us, I'd love to, drop it to me. I've got mine. I'd love to share with you. Something I do, and I don't know if y'all do this in Australia. Because I know you can put it into BNI Connect, but I put pictures on my gains profile. So I actually have a picture of my puppies. I have a picture of me speaking in socks. Depends on my mood at the time. Sometimes I'll put my behavioral style icons on my Gains profile. So I don't know. Do y'all use pictures down there?
No, we don't. And that's a great idea. I love that idea of just putting some pictures. Again, it's getting to like you, Tiffanie.
Yeah.
So that's a really good one to share. So absolutely. I think the more information we provide, and usually visuals are a great way to provide even more information. I think that's a great idea. Maybe some of us in Australia might pick that one up.
I would, it's funny, people look at it and they're like,
multiple pictures.
I just when I first got into BNI, I was a former event director, and so I would do a lot of like the newsletter and the flyers for stuff, and I'm like, this just looks like a boring resume, huh? So I added some photos. So yeah, let's add more photos.
I think that's a great idea. Anything that helps you stand out, be different, always works well. And I just want to say, Tiffanie, thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come and speak with you. So thank you.
Any last minute thoughts you want to leave for the BNI members or non-BNI members watching this video?
All I would like to say to everyone is go out, build your relationships, and really connect with the people that could. You never know, could be that person that's going to give you that referral that could change your life.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. And I look forward to seeing y'all again next Monday at 10:15. We will be going live. And happy Labor Day. Hope you're having some fun today and not laboring too hard.
Thank you. Bye, Tiffanie.